would like to present to you my final thesis, as well as the final output or contribution of my thesis in the field of academia. So this one, on February 16 and 17, 2022, I attended the 20th IPCAP National Convention via Zoom, and I was one of the oral research presenters, and I was able to present the preliminary findings to different professionals such as psychiatrists, psychologists, psychometricians, guidance counselors, professional teachers, students about the phenomenon of friends with benefits relationships. Of course, I asked first the permission from my thesis advisor, Ma'am Malin, if I could present it. And luckily, she allowed me as long as I would tell the audience that this study would still undergo a final defense, in which I did. Then, as expected, I have received a lot of commendations and comments regarding this topic, considering the fact that this kind of topic is really taboo, particularly in the Philippines. Well, during the presentation, I just emphasized the importance of employing person-centered approach in dealing with those adolescents having this kind of case or concern. So then, aside from this one, I also visited the Gabay or guidance office of the St. Agnes Academy, Inc., wherein I had a chance to talk with the guidance coordinator, Ms. Early Perianes, who is also my external panelist in this study. Then I give her the preliminary copy of my final output or the compendium of modules, as well as my project proposal, which I would discuss later on. And I presented and I discussed to her the possibility of executing and implementing the modules and the project proposal to the senior high school unit, which is actually the main recipients of the modules as well as the project proposal per se. So as you can see on your screen, this is my final output entitled Personal Social Relationships in the Now Normal. Then to further discuss this one, let us now proceed to the next slide. So let me elaborate further as regards the cover of the compendium of modules. So as you can see, the three color circles refer to the three domains, which are cognitive, color blue, emotional, color pink, and physical, color yellow. Well, psychologically, these three domains are interconnected to each other. Example, if the cognitive domain of a person seems to be dysfunctional, most likely the emotional and the physical domains might be affected also. Then same goes with the other domains or vice versa. So in FWBRs, one of my recommendations is that to really address the personal social relationships of the adolescents, considering the fact that adolescent stage is a period where they tend to experiment and explore with different relationships and searching for their self-identity. Then I have focused on the personal social relationships aspect of the adolescents. Although FWBRs is a type of interpersonal relationship, okay, based on the results or findings of my study, most of my participants have encountered psychological crisis or identity crisis when it comes to dealing with their self or personal adversities. Of course, Carl Rogers, a humanistic psychologist, would always emphasize that the ideal self must always be congruent with the real self. So that is why I asked my participants as to how they perceive themselves as a person or as a human being. So more so, personal and social development domain refers to concerns or issues affecting learners' individuality, particularly the self, especially their relationship with others and their social interaction with the community. Then this domain equips the learners with the foundation for personal and social growth. On the other hand, this does not limit only to one's interpersonal skills, but of course, it focuses on self-awareness, coping with emotions and stress and resilience. Then this one, the now normal, I think this is something new for some of us. The now normal term or the concept refers to the new learning modalities, which are synchronous and asynchronous. Wherein when I have attended some conferences or congress, some experts have used already the terms now normal. Since we have been experiencing COVID-19 pandemic for almost 3 years now, the Department of Education as well as the Commission on Higher Education have adopted the term new normal because of the educational setup that must be implemented. However, as we transition from the old normal to the new normal, some experts in academia have already proposed the term now normal because we have nothing to do but to move forward and embrace with the new educational setup, such as having the blended learning, hybrid learning, or the synchronous and asynchronous modalities. More so, the compendium of modules po, yung binigay ko po sa inyo that I had made is versatile or flexible po siya because each module, especially module 1, 2, 3, 4, can be run or implemented po in both modalities such as online or offline, which depends on the situation of the learner. Then the next one po is, since we are now in the 21st century, wherein everything seems to be digitalized, such as ebooks, this book or the compendium modules can be accessed or scanned through QR code that is embedded po in the book itself. So the guidance counselors, on the other hand, or kahit po yung mga faculty or teachers, may have an e-copy of the book if in case they do not want to print it out. Then, of course, each school, either private man po or public school, may be provided by one hard copy only. Kasi meron na po dito yung nag-scan o QR code. Then, though I have presented this already po during my pre-oral defense, I would like to give emphasis po again on each module that I have made. So, dito po sa module 1, Crash Landing on You, Cultural Diversity in the Classroom, the rationale, or shall I say, the general objective of this module 1 has focused on cultural differences or diversities that each learner has had. So considering the fact that cultural relativism should be explained thoroughly to the learners, instead of ethnocentrism and xenocentrism rather, in module 1, as you can see po on your screen, yung Crash Landing on You, so the learners come to school with their own unique cultures, traditions, and languages. So indeed, it is really a big challenge for teachers to instill the value of individual differences and meet the need of learners' diversity. So by engaging themselves with cultural diversity, the learners would be able to develop understanding of what makes them the same, and at the same time, what makes them different in terms of races, beliefs, morals, norms, values, practices, customs, traditions, etc. Then this is actually the module 1 for both synchronous and asynchronous modalities. Yung binigay ko pong hard copy. So if in case that the homeroom teacher would like to execute or run this module 1 synchronously, he or she may do so. On the other hand, if the homeroom teacher would make it asynchronously, he or she may just give it to the learner. Both modules have the same content, especially sa learning competencies, yung learning outcomes po that are expected from the learners. And yung assessment po, almost the same lang na naman po. Sa synchronous and asynchronous. Then for the module 2 po, as a friend, red light and green light in friendship, this is actually inspired by the famous Netflix K-drama series na entitled po na Squid Game. Then this module 2 po has focused on the interpersonal relationship, specifically friendship. Then this module 2 po emphasized the importance of building a healthy relationship with other people, and at the same time, knowing the red and green flags in a relationship, particularly in friendship. Of course, this is also considered as one of the vital aspects of one's development. So in module 2 po, the learners come to school and involve themselves in a circle of friends. So friendship is said to be vital in one's development as it enhances personal social development. So, and on the other hand, friendship may create a new meaning in one's life because it gives a sense of belongingness. At the same time, it achieves one's human's stature. So consequently, there are instances where friendship becomes a source of influence, such as social norms and trends, which is actually one of the findings in my study. Then this is the front page of the module 2, same with what I have emphasized in module 1. This module 2 can be run synchronously or asynchronously po, depending on the case of the learner po. Then we have the module 3, it's okay to not be okay, understanding self and the family. So this module 3 emphasizes that in social system, self is actually considered as our symbolic interactions with other people. So in this case, each learner would have to identify his or her strengths, yung strengths po nila, yung mga weaknesses nila, then he or she must realize the importance or the role of the family as he or she strives for something. So in module 3 po, understanding self and family, especially sabi nga ni Carl Rogers, self is the organized constituent set of perception and beliefs about oneself. So in this case, po, sa module 3, part of one's social system is her family that contributes the way he or she perceives himself or herself as a human being. Then this is also for the module 3 that may be done synchronously or asynchronously. Same with the module 1 and 2. If the learner opted to be in offline modality, also there is no problem because he or she may take the module printed out po. Then let us now proceed with the module 4. So this module 4 po, is entitled No Strings Attached, Understanding Friends with Benefits Relationships, wherein this is actually the last module that the learners should take. So this module 4 po emphasizes and discusses the notion or phenomenon of friends with benefits relation, particularly po in the Philippines. So in other words, the learner will have an idea or knowledge about the existence of this type of relationship in society, and of course, with the values integration. So the learners will have a thorough understanding as to why such individuals or adolescents would tend to engage in this type of relationship without prejudices and judgment. So the homeroom teacher po, the guidance counselor, my homeroom teacher po, should explain and discuss thoroughly about this module 4 since it requires skills and knowledge when it comes to executing or implementing this module. So in this module 4 po, since this seems to be considered, first, the friends with benefits relationship is considered to be taboo in society, so particularly in the Philippines. So FWBRs is a type of interpersonal relationship that involves sexual intercourse between two friends while uncommitted in a romantic relationship. Then this is the module 4 po, for both synchronous modality and asynchronous modality. I just would like to give emphasis po that the learner should not be able to take the module 4 po. Hindi po sila makakapag-take ng module 4 kapag hindi pa po sila nakatake ng module 1, 2, and 3. So in other words, the 4 modules po should be taken from module 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then of course, the homeroom teacher will be guided as to how he or she will run the module. So how will the homeroom teacher or guidance counselor assess if the learner should now proceed to the next module? Paano po ma-assess nila? So in the last part of the module po, as you can see there is also a self-assessment by the learner. Doon po sa self-assessment na yun, of course, the homeroom teacher should really scrutinize the answers given by the learner. So these are the 4 modules that have been made by the researcher for this study. Then let us now proceed with my project proposal po entitled Inside Out Dropbox po. So but before I explain this thoroughly po, let me just give you a short background about this project. Actually, this has been inspired by the famous cartoon movie, which is the Inside Out, way back in 2015. So the Inside Out Dropbox po project aims to help the learners address their personal social concerns that affect their cognitive, the emotional, and physical domains. And of course, as what I had mentioned earlier, psychologically, if a person's cognitive, for example, seems to be dysfunctional, most likely the other domains are affected as well. Then it focuses on their emotions po and feelings, joy, sadness, fear, anger, disgust. So in this case po, these are the primary emotions that will be given emphasis. So each color po has its own respective emotion and depicts characters based on a given situation. Then this is actually po a school-based project. Technically, this proposed project is for senior high school students or college students only because this is made for them, considering the fact that adolescent stage is a period for identity and role confusion. Then if in case that there should be a need to run this for junior high school students, a thorough guidance and scaffolding should be given enough. So moreover, this project proposal may be proposed to both private or public schools or even in the universities to really help the students address their needs as well as their emotions, since nowadays depression, suicidal thoughts, psychological problems seem to be rampant, especially the friends with benefits relationships. Then moving forward, this is actually the Inside Out Dropbox proposal concept paper, which includes the rationale, specific objectives, the procedures, the model materials needed, and the budget allocation Inside Out Dropbox form. Then this one this is actually the the model Then, of course, although I have experienced already thoroughly in my compendium modules, by the way, this project proposal has been embedded already in the last part of the compendium of modules. And again, just to give you a brief explanation as regards this project, As you can see po, this is actually the exact model, yung sa CESO po. But this is, kumbaga, well, any box naman po will do not only CESO. In this case, this box should be placed in each classroom or section. Then each week po, during homeroom period, the learners will be given this inside-out Dropbox form that they have to fill in po. This is just actually an example of the form, as you can see on your screen, that I have based and contextualized among the admission teachers in St. Agnes Academy. So every week po, the homeroom teacher should give one form only to the learners, and that is enough for the whole week. So in this form po, as you can see on your screen, the learner will have to assess his or her own general feeling or yung emotion po nila, then each day or at the end of the day, as well as their concerns. Then he or she may only drop the form every Friday of the week. Then after collecting all the forms through the Dropbox, the president or the class mayor of the class is in charge to surrender the box to the class advisor, and then the class advisor will now check all the forms. And by the way, I forgot to mention earlier that to ensure the privacy and confidentiality of the form itself, the learner will just put or write his or her preferred name, yung age po nila and grade in section. But the question is, how will the homeroom teacher or the advisor po know the owner of the form? So, well, on the first day of the homeroom schedule po nila, the class advisor will have to ask the learners their preferred name individually. Then the class advisor will have to write it on the anecdotal form or sheet given by the guidance counselor. So let me show you po on the next slide, this one. I think here in this point, this is actually the sample anecdotal form or sheet. So the class advisor will have to check the forms by the learners and write their dominant or their general feeling on each week. As you can see po on your screen, the name of the learners as well as their preferred name are included here. Then each week, the class advisor will have to write the dominant feeling of the learner based on the legends above. So yung po nasa taas. Then example po, sa week 1, the learner's dominant feeling is sadness. So based on the inside-out Dropbox form, so the class advisor will now write the letter S in the week 1, which refers to the sadness. Then same procedure should be done to the succeeding weeks. Then in this case po, the class advisor or the homeroom teacher will be able to monitor the learner's emotions or feelings each week. So for example, if the class advisor has noticed that from week 1 to 4, the learner or the student seems to be having an anger issue, then may anger issue siya or emotion or feeling, there is a need to address it immediately po. Just to give you po a concrete example, kasi po practical application po, dito kasi amin, there are some students po na who seem to be reluctant po or hesitant to talk with to the class advisor or to the guidance counselor as regards their feelings or their concern, their emotions, or shall I say, may mga pinagdadaanan sila. So, kasi most of the time, nalalaman na lang ng mga, of course, ng mga advisor na may mabigat na problema ang bata kapag may PTC na, may parent-teacher conference, or affected ng academics and so forth. So, through this project proposal, it would be easier for the guidance counselors and class advisors to monitor the learner emotion, of course, based on their personal forms. Then afterwards, the class advisor should give a copy to the assigned guidance counselor of the respective grade level. So the assigned guidance counselor now is now in charge to monitor the learner with the help of the class advisor, and if there is really a need for referral based on the anecdotal form or sheet given by the class advisor. So this is my project proposal po to address first the personal concerns of the learner, so that there will be an effective personal social relationship among the learners. Then at this point po, let me show you the another contribution. This is actually the another contribution or output of my thesis, wherein, as you can see on your screen po, if you're gonna search Friends with Benefits by Christian Siminiano on Google, the following books or titles will appear. So actually, I converted my thesis into book style, and luckily the Amazon accepted it for publication. So in this case, my thesis about Friends with Benefits is now accessible via Google or Amazon website specifically. So in this case, this is one of the main contributions that I have made through my thesis, wherein a lot of people will be able to know more about the existence or the phenomenon of Friends with Benefits in the Philippine context. So this one, this is actually the exact interface of my book that I have made in the Amazon.com. It has Kindle edition and paperback. So in this case, they may purchase the book by a Kindle or electronic or digitalized copy, or they may purchase a hard copy from the Amazon website. So perhaps I might give you the copy of this one for souvenir or remembrance once I have ordered from the Amazon, since there is an author discount for purchasing this one. Then this one the other version of the book, actually I have published here the Amazon the two versions of the book, but almost same contents lang naman po. And this is just to widen of course, to widen and disseminate the book in the Amazon website. Well, this one as you can see, let me show you the ranking or the bestseller rank of the book that I have made about friends with benefits based on my thesis. So the last time I checked, as you can see, among all the books that have been published all over the world via Amazon website, my friends with benefits relationship book landed on rank 4,059,910 in Kindle store, rank 5,974 in 90-minute printing and relationship short reads category. Then rank 9,116 in friendship category and 15,421 in love and romance category. So since this book has landed on the bestsellers rank, it means that there are some people who are reading and searching for the book or topic about friends with benefits relationships. And hopefully it may reach a larger audience around the world. Then this one, I also made a Facebook page about friends with benefits relationship. And as of now, it has more than 580 likes and followers already. Well, the purpose of this FB page is to really demystify the phenomenon of FWBRs in Philippine context through infographic materials. It could be blogs or vlogs or even through Facebook Live, so that everyone will have a thorough understanding as to what FWBRs is, and of course, its psychological consequences involved. And of course, if they tend to engage in this type of relationship. Then, of course, this is not to promote about the FWBRs relationship, but to educate people as regards this matter, since as I have mentioned in my study, this type of relationship seems to be taboo in the Philippines. Okay. Then I have made also an infographic material or poster presentation which summarizes the content of my study in a form of IMRAD format, in case that there is a need for poster presentation about this study, or I might also upload this through the Facebook page that I have made. So ginawa ko na rin po siyang IMRAD format, yung thesis ko po. So before I end this presentation, to conclude everything, I would like to give emphasis on this one. There is no such thing as a perfect family. However, if there is a proper communication and a healthy relationship among the members of the family, FWBR's cases may be avoided. And of course, therefore, as a conclusion, family dynamics and interactions have played as a significant factor for engagement in this type of relationship. So that ends my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you so much, my dear panelists. Good evening po, and that is my study entitled Demystifying the Phenomenon of Friends with Benefits Relationships.